Hello again. This is Spellbinder's Report, reporting on the headlines of the unfiltered news from the Reality Zone, compiled by G. Edward Griffin, the man who wrote Creature of Jekyll Island. This is how it goes today. The comic strip here is, relax, that's fool's gold. Talking about paper money. Of course it is. It's fool's gold because paper money. Here we go with the headlines. Crude oil price hits highest level since 2008, now at $115 a barrel, and analysts say that this is in response to the unrest in the Middle East. Gasoline prices have risen an average of 35 cents per gallon since the uprising in Libya began in mid-February of this year. Yahoo, March 4th. U.S. 4 Democrats are joining a Republican effort in Congress to prevent the EPA from regulating greenhouse gas, which is falsely blamed for mythical global warming. The bill has support in the House, but the fate of the Senate version is uncertain. MSNBC, March 4th. Ron Paul holds ground. Yes, he does. Ron Paul holds ground. Says during an interview with former prosecuting attorney Elliot Spitzer, current host of CNN, this is a worthwhile watch between two dueling philosophies. Elliot Spitzer's collectivism versus Ron Paul's individualism. And the winner is March 3rd. U.S. House passes bill to repeal portions of the Obamacare that requires all businesses to file a 2099 forms for transactions exceeding $600. The Senate and Obama seem to agree with this. However, before the House and Senate version can agree, there will be much debate over how to collect the billions of tax revenue that was anticipated from the original provision. Right, it was just a money-making scheme. That was from TBO.com. U.S. state and local government pension shortfalls are understated by $1.5 trillion when realistic accounting techniques are employed. The government accounting at all levels, city to federal, is like Enron accounting. It is based on assumptions of future income and expenses that are completely out of touch with reality. Washington Post, March 3rd. U.S. The gap between the super rich and the middle class, what is left of it, continue to widen. Most of the economic growth benefits the top 1/100th of 1% who enjoy government subsidies and laws that are custom tailored to favor their entrepreneur or enterprises. Members of Congress also acquire great wealth. When you make laws that override the free market, investing becomes a lot simpler. Mother Jones, March 3rd. New Zealand mass animal cloning research project ended due to 90% death rate and unnecessary suffering. The company will now attempt cloning using a different technology involving embryonic stem cells. March 3rd, Natural News. New Hampshire has introduced a bill that would make random TSA screening without probable cause that involve touching or photographing genitalia a criminal sexual offense. WMUR, March 2nd. Video, March. Our Michigan police are caught on audio tape entering a man's home based on an anonymous tip and then stealing much of his personal property and electronics. Michigan's forfeiture laws are virtually a license to steal by police officers and law enforcement. Yes, it is. U.S. Postal Service on path to be broke by October. This is because of cost of employees' benefits and retirement programs. Pressure now will be put on Congress to pay for these out of taxes rather than increasing postage rates. MSNBC, March 2nd. U.S. The attorney for Sirhan Sirhan, RFK's alleged assassin, will present new evidence that Sirhan was brainwashed or hypno-programmed. ABC News, March 1st. There is an abundance of old evidence that leads to the same conclusion, as shown in the documentary The Second Dallas, Who Killed RFK, available from the Reality Zone here. The EPA is seizing private land under the Clean Water Act by claiming that wetlands need to be kept pristine, so no economic development is allowed because landowners are prevented from doing anything with their land. It is useless to them, but they still must pay property taxes. The CDFE, March 1st. San Francisco spent over $100 million to upgrade its sewer system to accommodate low-flow, eco-friendly toilets, the ones that don't work right. But now there is a problem with the sludge buildup and odors. Solution? The eco-conscious city, which supposedly the green people of the world, will dump $14 million of bleach, yes, a known poison to them, into the system. And that will end up into the sea. Great for marine life, or, of course, Daily Mail, March 1st. Here's the answer to why the state of California is broke. It is so simple that any high school student can understand it. The explanation covers several pages of fine print, but you will completely comprehend it in less than 5 seconds. Colonial Pete, 2011, March 1st. China has hedged against inflation. Citizens are rushing to buy gold, even in jewelry, instead of putting their savings in banks. Sales are up 70% over last year. China Daily News, February 28. U.S. drones, remote control aircraft used primarily for military and police functions, soon will be operating out of bases being built in national and state parks. Those places where wonders of nature are protected from human activity. Wired Magazine, February 28. U.S. scientists at NASA say the nuclear war would have a beneficial effect on global warming. Since global warming is a myth, it makes you wonder what the so-called scientists are up to. Yahoo, February 28. The U.S. Department of Agriculture does not test to see if organic foods have GMO contamination. Why not? Because they say as long as their growing guidelines are followed, there is no reason to believe that contamination is happening. So why test for it? By the time it is discovered that all food are contaminated by genetically modified organisms, they will say, "My goodness, how did that happen?" Oh well, it's too late now, isn't it? Farm Wars, February 28th. U.S. genetic pat-downs to be introduced by Department of Home Security into the airports this summer under the guise of stopping human trafficking and illegal immigration. No one has any idea how gathering genetic data from the blood and saliva will do a better job of stopping human trafficking or illegal immigration. It's just an excuse to expand the government's database on all citizens. The Activist Post, February 27. Yes, they got to gather this information so they can make bioweapons specifically for you, so they don't kill anyone next to you when they come out with these new type of weapons to kill off people. U.S. Some states are pursuing a constitutional convention as a means to rein in federal spending. This may sound like a good idea at first, but it is dangerous and unnecessary. Dangerous because a constitutional convention could be used to completely change the Constitution, even throw the Constitution out the window. Unnecessarily because we don't need more words on a piece of paper to stop the spending. We need honorable, intelligent legislators. That should be our focus. Pelican Post, 27th. Oh yeah, I've even said in a video we can't have a constitutional convention because we don't have anyone who's constitutional in the Congress. None of them are constitutional except for maybe Ron Paul and maybe a couple others. Otherwise, the rest of them are a bunch of socialists and capital and communists and collectivists. And you know what they'd do? They'd want to rewrite the entire Constitution in their favor and their image, after their likeness, which would destroy the planet and kill us all in America. Yes, that's what they want. Just look at the UN Constitution. We can take away anything we think you don't need at any time. That's what the UN Constitution says. It says that they can give or take as they please. So we can't have a constitutional convention not until everyone in Congress is a constitutionalist. U.S. Courts of Appeal sides with the USDA and Monsanto over overturning previous court order to remove GMO beet plants from the ground. Therefore, young GMO plants will be cultivated to produce GMO seed for the 2012 growing year. LA Times, February 26. Indiana Deputy Attorney General fired after he urged police to use live ammunition on protesters. Daily Mail, February 26th. That's right, they wanted to shoot the people that disagree with government. That's right. That shows you that they're tyrannical. Dictatorship is just around the corner. Montana governor speaks against the 10th Amendment, the right for states to nullify federal laws that violate the Constitution. Notice that MSNBC slants this story to discredit those who advocate states' rights. The freedom movement continues to grow anyways. That's right. You do have every state has the right to kick all federal laws out of their state. All they have to do is do it. They have the right. Don't let them tell you they don't, because that's just a tyrannical government, a police state government talking. When they say that you don't have no right in your own state to change things and eliminate unconstitutional laws. UK doctors complain that socialized medicine system is severely rationing health care to save money. Can America be far behind? Daily Mail, February 26. U.S. George Soros' green energy hedge fund hires former high-ranking employee of the Department of Energy. Her inside information and contacts will help the fund benefit from policies generated by green organizations funded by Soros. What goes around comes around. American thinker. This analysis shows that the EU now can force the U.S. into compliance with the UN rules for food and health products that favor pharmaceuticals over natural substances. This is possible because the U.S. joined the UN World Trade Organization and agreed to abide by rulings of the World Court. Therefore, if the EU sues the U.S. in the World Court and wins, which is expected outcome, Americans will say bye-bye to their vitamin supplements and will all get sick and have to take pharmaceutical poisons and die slowly while they make a profit off your death. Activist Post, March 3rd. A garden in your own backyard or in the neighbor's yard can produce not only self-reliance but a good source of income. Some people are turning urban gardens into a business. Here is the amazing story. Includes video. Morph City, March 2nd. G. Edward Griffin discusses free market monopolies and how to restore freedom. Alter Markets, posted February 26th. Why isn't Wall Street in jail? This is an interview with Rolling Stone's reporter Matt Taibbi, who explains that the revolving door between government and the financial sector has prevented accountability. Unfortunately, this scheme is not limited to financial sector, but is common throughout the collectivist structures, including the FDA, the EPA, the USDA, and the Department of Energy. Democracy Now! Posted on February 26th. The revolutions in the Arab world are not what they appear to be on the surface. This analysis probes the problem of acting with the rage against a known tyrant, but being in the dark about who is waiting in the wings to pick up the pieces afterward. This could be a dress rehearsal for what is coming to the U.S. Nethercorp, February 24th. Well, that's all the lines for today. The U.S. Southern Poverty Law Center updates its list of hate groups, right-wing extremists, and those who are conspiracy-minded, considering that the SPLC is notorious for supporting left-wing extremists and opposing anyone who opposes collectivism. It is not surprising that the Freedom Force and other fine organizations are on the list. Not all groups on this list are fine organizations. Some are truly despicable. We have been added to the list to smell up the works and lead to a casual observer to conclude that All are the same Ike. It's an old but effective tactic. And WorldNet Daily's on that list also. Until next time, this is Spellbinder saying be good at it, and have a good day. And I'll have a link to this newsletter at the bottom in the description, and you'll be able to go and watch the videos and read the articles. Until next time, good day.